Welcome to the best of the Chris Vernon Show, presented by Direct Auto Insurance from the American Home Shield Studio inside FedEx Forum. To watch the live show daily at noon or on demand, head over to grindcitymedia.com or Grind City Media on YouTube. Now, let's take a look back at some of the best moments of the week.
You had done some interview and somebody asked you your most embarrassing or your welcome to the NBA moment, and you said, when Kobe Bryant fouled me out in 8 minutes.
Yeah, that happened.
6 fouls in 8 minutes?
6 fouls in 8 minutes.
That's unbelievable.
I was so nervous. And we watched it. This is the first time I probably watched, in shoot around, they show you film.
Right.
And this specific day, this is the first time I watched film on a guy that was maybe every player might get 2 or 3 clips. This is the first guy I saw with 10 clips. He had 10 clips. I'm like, damn. So, and I was looking at him like, yo. And then all I could hear is and then right after see the clips, all I could hear is Doc saying, and Tia, you got to be ready because you're going to need you on them too. And I looked up, I was like, whoa. And I knew that day, earlier that day, I was like, it's going to be a long day. I went home, I remember going home. I'm telling my boys, like, yo, I got cold tonight. Like, Doc told me to be ready. It's going down. And that challenge I didn't do too well. I was mad. Oh, man.
This is your rookie year?
Yeah, I believe so, my rookie year.
Do you remember what Doc Rivers said to you after your 6th foul?
None. It was sit on the right side of the coach. It was over with. But right then and there, I knew the game was more serious, and I ain't gonna lie. He told me if that game didn't teach me anything, it taught me that I gotta be better prepared when I'm coming into battles like that, and just the proper preparation to prevent the poor performance. And I thought he was one of those relentless guys who didn't see a shot he didn't like, who kept the competitive edge bar at an all-time high. If it just because some guys will get 25 and just coast the next quarter and a half. You know what I'm saying? Whereas here's a guy who see 25, he might see 35. He see 35, he might see 45, and the numbers keep going up. So, and I always told myself I'll never let that happen again. And big shout out to him, man. It forced me into being what I call myself today, Mr. First Team All Defense.
How many do you think were legitimate fouls?
Every last one of them. It's some of them. It's a few of them that didn't get called. Like it was like I was nervous. It's like you ever Barney. You know how Barney Fife be when he got the gun. You ever saw Barney Fife? That's how it be. Like I was like, he'll go that way. I'll be like.
So though you fouled out in 6 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
Guarding Kobe Bryant as a rookie, you believe that you fouled him more than that?
I really do.
I need to find the tape.
8 fouls.
I need to find a tape of this.
He was saying, ah! He was screaming. The ones that he was making them. They weren't called. He was like, ah! So when he keeps screaming, you like, I got away. So you never know, man.
But clearly, your respect level for him is as high as it is for any player in the NBA.
Any player.
That you ever played against. I mean, you and obviously there was a mutual respect there on the offensive and defensive end because, look, I've been, I promoted you long before it was commonplace to promote you for what you were doing on the court. But and the awards, certainly making first team all defense and all this kind of stuff, those accolades, people can look those up and they can know that you were one of the great defenders. But there is nothing like that. There's nothing like him saying that. Seriously.
None like that saying
it's not. It's not. It's a game-recognized game thing. It doesn't matter how many accolades you have. When you have Kobe Bryant saying, this is the toughest defender I ever faced, it's greater than anything you could possibly have that would be like on a resume. Seriously.
Man, it's crazy. I was there. I was just with Al Jefferson about a week ago. And he was telling me, he was just kicked back chilling. He was just telling me like, bro, Kobe, one of the greatest of all times, bro. he could have said anybody, bro. But he chose Joe. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So it was dawning on me, you know, when your peers keep, you know, letting you know that, hey, man, you really had a mark on the defensive side of things when a guy like Kobe Bryant says it, and it hit me. It like melt me every time. Like, yeah, you're right, bro. Like, that's big. And I'm coming from a standpoint, like, I was always preparing to try to compete with him, against him, and trying to stop him from going to be so great. And, you know, it melts in, man, when you hear him going into the Hall of Fame. It's another more than well-deserving candidate.
What's Al Jefferson doing now?
Al Jefferson, he chilling. He just lost a good family member, man. I just, you know, was in attendance.
And that's why you had to catch up with him?
Yeah, man.
That
just
sucks.
showed him love, man.
Is he's not, is he playing, he might be Big Three, right?
Yeah,
he did
was
Big
champion
Three
of the Big Three.
Yeah, he did it
Champion
last year. I take that back.
He trying to get me to play in it. But I told him I need at least I need this whole year just getting ready. Like, I need a whole year just working on my legs.
That's special, though, that you guys, because you guys were
drafted together.
I mean, and that's
first check together.
That's 04. That's 16 years.
A good friendship.
And you got
good friendship,
that,
man.
really
That's why I tell people I'm a good guy, man. Why would you know, try to hurt?
Do you think there's
guy?
a lot of people out there that don't think you're a good guy?
Yeah, a lot of people be thinking I don't know what they think, but I'm on the platform now to tell you today, hey man, I'm a good guy, man.
Yeah. Just ask Al Jefferson.
Yeah, big shout out to Al Jefferson. That's my boy, man.
All right, the other one, and now we're going through, obviously, no relationship with Duncan except for playing against him.
A big
time
shout out, big homage, pay homage to Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, a big relationship with him, and now we're getting bigger. We're going up the line because this is a Hall of Fame class that has you written all over it. Honestly, all right, KG, who spent time with us last year in studio.
Was that our first?
I don't know. Lucas was in here. I don't know if he was before or after.
Lucas had to come after because he saw I pulled KG in here. So he was like, all right, let me get on there, man.
So
yeah.
KG
Shout out
came
to John
in.
Lucas.
Yeah, well, one of the great storytellers ever is Kevin Garnett. And you guys spoke a lot, even while he was here, about everything you guys went through and what made Boston special and whatever else. You have, when he's playing in Minnesota, this is like you were on a not good Boston team. All your buddies end up getting moved out, right? All these young guys that you're with, you're almost like last man standing of the guys that were drafted by the Celtics during that short amount of time.
Last man standing. That's
right?
funny you said
No,
that.
seriously.
Yeah, I'm the last man
And
standing.
now you look around, it's Paul. Paul's there still, obviously, but he was a star when you walked in the door. Ray Allen walks in.
True that.
Kevin Garnett walks in.
True that.
Obviously, you get Kendrick Perkins, who is drafted.
True that.
He's in there. Rondo is drafted. So, I mean, but you've been there, right? And now they've stuck with you through everything, and you're still on the Celtics, but now you're on a good team. You have some kind of perception of Kevin Garnett.
No, I know Kevin Garnett. Like, I know who he is.
Beforehand?
I know everything about Kevin before he even got there.
Because of Chicago?
Because of Chicago.
Did you guys have a prior relationship to him being in
None
Boston?
whatsoever.
None. You just knew of him.
I knew exactly what he was on, what it was like for him in Chicago. I knew the whole everything. It's my man.
Mutual friends?
That's my man.
Did you have mutual friends?
Yeah, we had mutual friends.
Okay. So
And I just want me to break the spiel down to you.
Yep.
I'll break the spiel down to you. All right. So obviously, you know Michael Jordan.
Who?
Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, Michael Jordan. Yeah, I've heard of him.
Obviously, he brought the championships to the city.
Right.
So boom. So obviously we got a CLTV News, which is the local news in Chicago.
Okay.
And it was just a big buzz on the hoop side of things, you know, with Ronnie Fields and Kevin Garnett. And so everybody knew that this kid was coming to the town for 1 year and he was supposed to, you know, take Farragut all the way. Fast forward, get older. Our mutual friends, you know, had watched him, you know, become who he is today. As becoming the big ticket. And a lot of my friends or my big homies would say, that's how we got to get it, like Ticket. You know what I mean? Ticket, man, he no holds bar. He ain't trying to be nobody's friend. He out here coming to seek and destroy. This the mentality you gotta have. And, we would be like getting little pointers on how to move like the big Ticket. You get what I'm saying? And that would be the motivation, the plateau to get to in your NBA career.
Because he was a guy that got out.
They got out. Well, yeah, I guess got out. However you want to look at it.
Well, you guys always
more,
tried to paint it like city kids and county kids.
Yeah, no. Not necessarily. I ain't coming like that. I'm just saying, my mutual friends and his friends, we were all like he had came and went from the mutual friends that we have. Then we was the up and coming guys that had a chance to move on and go pro.
But you guys knew the same people, and even when you guys started talking about the playgrounds and stuff, they were not, like he was saying, these are dangerous playgrounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't walk up in there and just play, right? Like, you better be ready.
Yeah, he was talking about Leclerc courts, and he was talking about all those places. But those places we went to, he went to a little earlier than me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So as I was coming up, it was like I would go through those places where he would say we play ball at, and I would survive out. You're right. I would make it out. And he was just the bar. You get what I'm saying?
And this is post, really, Jawan was the first, right?
Jawan, but I moved to the west side of Chicago
around
that time. When Jawan moved, when he came and put the playground there, I had about like maybe, I want to say, an extra 2-3 more years on the south side that I moved to the west side. And that's why I was able to get more knowledgeable about the big Ticket. You see what I'm saying?
So do you guys hit it off immediately when he walks in?
I haven't met him yet, is what I'm trying to tell you.
No, when he comes to Boston, I'm saying.
Yeah. But that's because of the times earlier that my people and his people they hired, I already knew, like, if you want to go pro, this might be the regimen you need to take, like the big fella. And so it was already like,
you knew,
an in-house thing. So when I got in the NBA, and I first saw him, his first words to me was like, "What's up, Coleon? What's up, TA?" He had already knew who I was. You see what I'm saying? Cause his homies had been talking to, they got this young boy, Tony Allen. He next up. He about to. So that's how we had already knew about each other. So when we got, I went. He went. My first 8 years being with the Timberwolves. Year 6.
No, you were 04, right? And so
he didn't get there until.
No, he
08.
was 90.
I'm saying he didn't get to Boston until 08.
Right. So you're 4 years in?
So I got 4 years in just playing against him and us acknowledging each other, knowing what's going on with each other, through mutual friends. You see what I'm saying?
You wouldn't see each other in the summer or anything?
Nah, because he'll be working out always somewhere else. I'll be working out. So then fast forward, boom, he get traded, and the bond was just automatically there. You get what I'm saying? And one thing that I can't take from him with just hearing about how hard he worked and how much he got love for his people or whatnot, his work ethic is what, like how he get ready. You know what I mean? Like, I would see him being the last person leaving the gym. If it's a shot or a move he couldn't get right, he'll stay there until he make like 10 of them in a row. He was like pushing himself real hard. He would be screaming, talking to himself. He'd be like, it's just a lot of intensity in his workouts.
These are the guys that change cultures, though. They really do.
And I was looking at that. I'd be on the other end. And, he got all the coaches rebounding for him. I don't got nothing but I probably got the dude who do tickets rebounding for me. So I'm looking, and he would be in a full, like, all the way. And it's after practice. So I'm like, yo, yeah, that's how he got all that money. Like, I would look at that, and I'll see him walk right to the weight room, do some squats just to finish the workout, and just staying motivated. And a lot of, like, his preparation right before the game, like he focusing in, thinking, just getting ready. just all that, man. And I soaked all of it up, man. And if he ever hear this, I took all that and I brought that down to Memphis, bro. I like every time, like before a game, I never want to be playing with nobody. I never want to be listening to nobody. I keyed in what I need to key into, put my music on my head, and focused in on every game. Like when I came to Memphis, I took his whole regimen. I tried to emulate all that. A little bit from P, a little bit from Ray, a little bit from those guys, but most importantly, the meditation part, the keying in part, like that's why I never would joke around before a game. I remember one story with big tickets. I'm finna put a 10 out. But I remember one day, like, this was immaturity in me. I didn't know, like, he was getting focused and getting ready for the game, because this how he go against this how he get ready for his opponent. Me, on the other hand, I wasn't that disciplined as I was when I got to Memphis. So I would be in the locker room, lit, dancing, turned up. Hey, what's up, baby? Yeah. I'm playing around, probably throwing paper balls and just doing all of the just happy being in the NBA type stuff. He pretty much showed me, like, it's bigger than just being here. This ain't no right. It's a privilege. You need to take full advantage in being ready. You stay ready, you don't got to get ready, right? That's the mindset, and that's what he was trying to get me to. So one day I'm playing, I got the music all loud, the Beats headphones just come out. We told the story on it.
Oh, yeah.
So that specific day, man, I ain't gonna even front. Like, I started walking lightly, like, no, I gotta change it up. Like, people is really getting ready. Ain't no telling what type of stipulations he had in his contract. As I got older, I'm realizing that now, but it's everything that his seriousness and his level of focusedness, his way to prepare, everything. His intensity, man, I just took all that and I brought it here, man. So big salute.
But you think about him, even when you go back to that, the story goes like he took your headphones off.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because you were listening to something way too loud.
Too loud. Gucci, man.
You got to be a real leader to walk over to another dude on your team.
And I'm telling you, I was bench pressing about 375 then too. All right, about 280. No, for real. No, for real. Now hey, for real. All right, come on, back to ticket, man. We can get back to me. Go ahead.
You got long arms. You didn't bench press 280. All right.
I definitely know it wasn't 375.
Yeah, it was cap. Little barbecue sauce on the wing.
All right, so hey. No, but
go ahead.
The way he did and the way he moved and the way he acted in the locker room and the way he practiced after practice and all that kind of stuff. That's stuff that you thought when I go to a different situation where I can be like that, right? It's like he's going to be the elder statesman on that team, but if you can be a guy that shows other young players, this is how you like all of a sudden you became the serious one and other people became the goofy ones, right? You were still goofy.
I was still goofy, but I knew it was more of a time and a place. I mean, Ticket was goofy.
Right.
Like he would be he and ha when it was a time and a place. But I mean, when it was game day or it was practice on the practice.
Here's one thing that I think
he was serious.
That there's always guys on a team, and obviously I was always talking about how the profound effect that you had on the team as a whole, and there's always guys that are like that, right, that have a profound effect on everybody else. I see it now with Morant. He's that kind of a guy, right, where other people will look to see how he's acting. I will say this is true about you, and this is true about Zebo. It's true about Mark. This is why that team was special. You guys were legitimately pissed if you lost. And that seems like it would just be a given, and yet Rozier's been in locker rooms all year, as has Devin. Visiting locker rooms, come in here, that teams that have lost, it's not common. And especially with bad teams. No, they're not pissed when they lose.
Yeah, no, it's you walk in the visiting locker room of a team that came in here and lost, and it's not quiet. That locker room is music blasting, the buffet spread's already out, and they're goofing around joking.
And that's teams that lose like regularly.
Yeah. Those are teams
right?
that have that
The
history.
good teams,
like
you never walk into a good team's locker room where it's where they're goofing around. You just don't. If they lose, the guys on their team, the guys that matter on their team, they're not. Russell Westbrook ain't putting up with that crap, and Chris Paul ain't putting up with that crap. And I mean, you know, guys throughout the league, and you guys had 4 guys that were mad after losses, and so it didn't matter who the other 8 were. The other 8 are falling in line. Nobody, if anybody's goofing around, they're happy that they scored a bunch of points in a losing effort, like they'd get in line real quick. And I do think that, I don't know, I think that's, you say you were on a team like that.
Yeah, in Boston. We lost, 18 in a row? That was the record. I think we set the time for that.
And it's just terrible?
And it would be like, I just remember days after the locker room, being in the shower or guys asking where we at, where we going, what's the spot, what's the next spot we going to, what it's looking like up there, get a table for 6, and it would just be a lot of that type of time going on. And
was Doc the coach?
yeah, Doc was the coach, but I mean, we was tanking. We was, I don't mean to say that. But we were losing, and we was hopefully trying to get Kevin Durant or Greg Oden. Mm-hmm. And we didn't do that. We chose for Ray and chose to go get Ray and somehow got ticketed, that year. But it was rough.
Jeff Green.
It was rough.
It would have been Jeff Green, right? 5th pick. I think it was the 5th pick that year. Because the Grizzlies, look, I hosted a draft night party.
I think we had the number 2 pick.
No, Durant was 2. You had 5.
We had 5?
Uh-huh. Because we had 4. We had 4. The teams that jumped in front of us because we ended up, that was the year that we, what was the Jeff Green year? It was Conley. That's who we ended up with. And Horford went 3. So
That makes sense.
We had, but I hosted a party. We were either getting Oden or Durant. And we had the worst record in the whole league. The Grizzlies did that year. And we hosted the party. And not only did they not get the first, the second.
Chris, hold on, Chris.
What?
I want to go on the record for this one, Chris. I'm ready to do some trivia backing up on you on this one. I think we had the number 1 pick, bro.
No.
Or some type of pick we traded.
No, 5.
We traded a 5 pick.
Yes.
Just to get Ray Allen.
Yes. No, it was a package.
The Celtics?
Yeah.
I thought we had a
traded. It was Jeff Green.
It was the 5th pick.
Yeah, it was the 5th pick.
I could have sworn it was higher than that.
No.
Well, all right. We got what we got in return. That was great. So, big ring. Ooh, I got to go get my ring.
I wonder who else. Was it Rafe LaFrance or somebody like that?
Rafe was in that deal. Yes, he was. Rafe was in that deal.
Okay, so Rafe LaFrance
That
is in
wasn't
the deal.
because he had the biggest money at the time.
And the 5 pick, right? It says a deal involving Milwaukee or something, but I'm messed up here now. Okay.
But man,
the Sonics traded Ray Allen. All right, here we go. The Sonics traded Ray Allen and the number 35 pick for the Celtics' number 5 pick, Delonte West, Wally Zerbiak, and a future second rounder.
Right.
So it was Ray Allen for the 35th pick. Yeah. Oh, Ray Allen and the 35th pick for the number 5 pick, Delonte, Wally, and a future second round pick. Mm-hmm. And then with the 5th pick, it was Jeff Green.
Jeff Green.
How about this? The Sonics drafted Purdue forward Carl Landry with the 31st pick. That wasn't a bad. Carl Landry had a pretty decent career.
Yeah, he had a great career.
Right?
Yeah, boy could hoop.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, but sure enough, that's how. I didn't know you played with Wally Zerbiak even. I don't remember that at all.
Wally Zerbiak had a little. He had a little Chandler Parson in him at the time. He never played. He was always hurt. What?
And good looking.
No.
He had the girls in the crowd.
Pause.
He had the girls in the crowd. I remember you telling me one time, you're like, man, we ain't never had. We go every city, Chandler Parsons, and girls come out to these games like never came out before. I look up in the stands.
I don't know what it is, bro. Chandler Parsons bring them out. I ain't gonna lie to you. Chandler Parsons playing today? Oh, yes, sir. They coming to see that ice on them knees. For real. For real.
Oh,
What?
no.
That's what they doing.
I know.
He
Hey.
playing 12 minutes and sitting down. Hey, he be waving like all through the game. Yeah, for real.
Oh my goodness gracious! All right, so KG thing, it goes without saying. You
Yeah,
guys are
man,
still
big salute,
friends.
man. That's my brother,
You guys
man.
are still friends to this day,
And I will be in attendance.
had a profound impact on
I
you.
will be in attendance for that.
Well, of course you will, because we are getting to the most important relationship. It's the last one we'll cover today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a guy that you have said was a father figure of sorts to you. And I went back and pulled up a bunch of stuff from your college days. You know, everything still exists on the internet, you know. And
What you talking about, Willis?
I'm talking about, like, everything that was, I'm talking about things that were written and such from your college days, and Eddie Sutton talking about you and you talking about him. So Eddie Sutton, this is his 7th try, and it's finally gotten in. You just saw him recently when you were down to visit Oklahoma State a couple of weeks ago. He coached at Creighton, Arkansas, Kentucky, Oklahoma State, and part of a year at San Francisco at the very end. He is how about this? I was surprised he wasn't in. I did not realize he wasn't in the Hall of Fame yet, right? But I understand that this has been a big thing for Oklahoma State fans and, frankly, for basketball observers, that it's rather ridiculous. There are 9 coaches with 800 wins. 9. 8 or 7, I'm sorry. So there's 9 coaches with 800 wins. 7 of the other 8, besides Eddie Sutton, are in the Hall of Fame. And the only one that's not is a guy that just passed 800 last year, which is Bob Huggins. Mike Krzyzewski, Jim Boeheim, Bobby Knight, Roy Williams, Dean Smith, Jim Calhoun, Adolph Rupp, Bob Huggins, Eddie Sutton. He is also the first coach to take 4 different schools to the tournament. He took Arkansas and Oklahoma State to Final Fours. 36 full seasons he coached. He had 1 losing season ever in 36 years. Do you know how, I mean, just to win 800 games, you're talking about just extraordinary success for such a long time that you have to do it. And he is now going to the Hall of Fame. He is getting in now with a record all-time of 806 and 329. Okay. So there's a couple things here. First of all, I found this old article, and it was about you, and he was saying that Tony Allen has had more progress than any player I've ever had, and that's why I have stayed coaching. And which is an unbelievable quote, to say the least. But it talks about how, and he says, and it's not on the court that I'm talking about. I'm talking about him as a person more so than anything else. More progress than any player I've ever seen. And that article goes on, and I did not know this, but you got in trouble right before school started, after you had gone there from junior college, right? They bring you into Oklahoma State. There's a fight. Charges end up being dropped, right? Will you talk about this? It's in the anybody can find the article. It exists, man.
Go ahead, finish.
So it says there's a fight in a parking lot of a restaurant, and you and another guy. What's the guy's name? Cheyenne? No, was it Chain? What was the kid's name? Cheyenne Gadsden? Do I have that right? Shane Gadsden. Yeah. So
big shout out to my boy Shane Gadsden.
You guys get in trouble. You and Shane are for your roles in this, and evidently this is like a massive fight, like 300 people in a restaurant parking lot. So now you have come to town.
This is my 4th day on campus.
Oh my God, school's about to start.
This is my 4th day on campus. Yo.
All right, what happens?
So you know I'm a loyal guy.
Okay.
I'm a loyal guy, and I say if I say I'm a ride for you, I'm riding with you.
Oh no.
It ain't no if and once I say I got you, I got you. It's like that.
Okay.
With anybody, you feel me? So you know we have been having practices and stuff, you know, whatever, been scrimmaging for the first 5 days I was in school or whatever. And, you know, the first Thursday is a night to kick it for the town. I don't know, in Oklahoma State, that
What do they call it? Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday. Okay, that's what it was. So my boy Melvin Sanders, he had been talking to some girl on the campus, and her boyfriend was a football player in Langston. So something happened to where, you know, he called up there and was sending the word like, yo, we gonna be up there on Thursday, and Melvin, we gonna have to holler. So as the hoop squad, we said we was gonna wear all black T-shirts, you know what I mean? And you know, just tie your shoes up tight, cause it might be like that.
You know that there's something.
So
that
I'm
could
knowing
happen.
there's some friction beforehand. Imagine we went out and party, had a good time. Now we going to Whataburger to eat. So we go to Whataburger and eat. Soon as like at this time I ain't had my LASIK eye surgery that I got in. Now I'm seeing 20/20 right now, so you know what I'm saying. But at this time, I used to do this a lot, like squint. Like, see what I'm saying? Like I couldn't really see. So I know we all got on all black. We got on all black. So as I'm trying to talk to whoever I was talking to, and then, you know, I see the little melee, I look back, I'm like, yo, all right, something going on. Walked away from
Guys start fighting in the background.
Yeah, walked away from the situation. They wasn't even fighting, that's what I'm saying. They wasn't even fighting. So you gotta listen, stay close. So as I walk towards the gathering, as everybody gathering and bringing it together, I'm not knowing that, okay, I see some hands moving like this, and they shoving each other. And as I walk, I start running towards the crowd to try to see what was up. And I saw my boy Melvin Sanders, and I saw him tussling. And as soon as I saw him tussling, as I participated, I didn't realize that was the police actually breaking it up. Oh. So the police is breaking it up.
And you hit the police?
No, I looked at the police and I was like, oh, I ran. so I ran. When I ran, I looked back, I said, I couldn't run. So I couldn't run. I had on some Timberland boots. So I was running slow, and the whole school mocked me this whole time. As I was running, he was like those cartoons where you almost close and you grab it, you do it like this. I ran dead into the wall. Boom. I asked him, I said, man, come on, man, take this $100 and let me go, man. He said, man, if you don't get your, and pulled my arm back out there, and he did it, broke my arm. I'm like, all right, let me go, slow down. And then, before you know it, I was in trouble.
So now you're arrested, and this is when our mutual friend Sip gets a phone call.
And they called the dude who recruited me, Glenn Cyprian, and then he was like, let him sit in there. Bro, they let me sit in there for like 3 days.
What?
No, like, no, I'm just kidding.
You were not in jail.
I get out Saturday night.
From Thursday to Saturday?
Yeah.
What was it like in there?
It was nothing. I was in a room.
By yourself?
Yeah, I ain't go to jail.
Oh, you did? They were just holding you?
They were just holding me.
And he was going to let you just sit there?
They bonded me and my boy out. I was on my cell phone the whole time until he died. It wasn't that serious. I mean, it was serious, but I mean,
they dropped the charges.
It wasn't no charges to be dropped. It wasn't really like who. Yo, if like what I was mad at, this is what I was mad at. I was mad that I even participated in that because of like if we had static, we should have just knew like, all right, let's not go out, right? That's the wise of me now, right?
Right.
But the younger me then, I'm riding for my homeboys. You know, Mel, hey man, I ain't letting you do this. This probably ain't even.
So this is the guy that Eddie Sutton is dealing with when he first gets on campus.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story in that. Like, when I first came to campus, I had like braids, I had cornrows. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when I walked in the gym, I had half of my hair braided, and the other half was in this real big old afro about this big. And, well, about this big. But Coach looked at me and said, what in the world somebody get the barber over here so we could cut this guy's hair. I was like, oh, man, they about to make me cut my hair. And that was the start of him being, like what I say,
Immediately.
a father figure. Like, what in the world is wrong with your hair? That is not presentable for no type of job here in America. And I was like, man, word. I was like, yo, the braids, I just need to get this side braided. Cut that off before practice tomorrow. I'll see you. And it was just one of them things like.
But you respected it.
Oh, yeah, I had to. I was in trouble.
Was he mad at you about because obviously, look, they're bringing a JUCO kid in.
Yeah, that's what they was like, hold on for a minute now. What's up with him?
Right.
So they gave me that second chance. They granted me that second chance right off the rip. Like, all right.
Did you think when you would when they brought you in? Obviously, there's a moment you're in cuffs and they take you in and they're calling.
I thought it was over after that.
You did?
I thought it was all the way over. I said, man, I didn't just.
You think you had blown it?
I said, it's over with. I'm trying to be tough in front of my boy Shane. Like, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. It's cool. It's cool. Soon as he went to sleep, I crying like, oh, I was like.
You blew it.
I blew it. And I'm talking about.
Over something that wasn't even involving
ain't
you,
had
right?
nothing to do with me. Nothing at all.
I think, but this is why you are so good working with guys now. And I also think when you speak to, I've seen you speak at those GIF things and things they do around town, because it's you. It's you, right?
Made me a
That
better
is
man.
that is the error. The errors of youth are what makes you could also get you in trouble, right? Like which is that's every human being, right? Sometimes your best qualities have a bad side to them, and so being loyal, being ready to fight for whoever, it almost ruined your life.
Almost ruined
seriously,
my life. No cap.
right? And so there's some limit to being tough that has to be aligned, that has to be drawn to be smart, or else you could really screw things up. Because as we know, all manner of kids have screwed it up for themselves. Just being kids.
And I think that was one of the things that Coach saw. He's like, yeah, I think this kid deserves a second chance, things of that nature. And from that point on, he stayed hard on me. Like even when it's times I had success, and I think I'm about ready to, take that jump. He'll always give me a few humbling words to where he'll let me know, like, hey, you're not strong enough to be in the NBA just yet. You have to come and dominate this game on a collegiate level, and I mean both ends. And he'll let me know, I haven't seen you dominate the both ends. You had spurts, and I'll be like, Coach, I'm averaging 17 points a game. That's the most in the conference. Coach, well, that's just not, it's a level that and he was steady pushing me. And every time he would tell me that, I'd just go back to the gym, shoot on that gun, try to outshoot John Lucas for the night, running the treadmill, do an extra few sprints. Like, that's all I really needed as a player. Me, even today, I just needed somebody to get on me, tell me what they want, and I'm on it. And that's just the type of workhorse I am. And
the tough love thing.
Yeah, and if you nice patting me on my back and yeah, man, you okay, man? How I'm okay? I just missed 4 shots and dove on a loose ball. No, that ain't productivity. I need to get that steal. I need to make 2 out of these 4 and get another stop. Like I need to be pushing myself like that. Like it's a game within the game. I got to show Coach that I'm gonna make him watch his words from yesterday. Who's my opponent? Oh, I'm shutting him down, so the world gonna see it. I'm first team all defense.
Oh yeah, when I went back and I was even reading game caps, of quotes from him, and I could just to get a better sense of all this and what it was like, because I know Eddie Sutton from afar, right? It was fascinating because I'm thinking to myself, this guy is perfect for TA, because even in like your Big 12 Player of the Year, other coaches always said the nicest things about you. And you read what he would say, and it'd be like, I thought Tony Allen played pretty well offensively, which that is such a dig at, right? Like he would
never, because he
on purpose.
His thing was, you guys have been reading those damn articles. So you weren't finna just see him say too much flattering
He really
words.
wasn't. No, you can't find,
Man.
like Rick Barnes is like, this guy, nobody in the conference has an answer for him, and he's going on and on about Tony
Shout out
Allen.
to Rick Barnes. Big shout out to Rick Barnes.
Who's now the
That
Tennessee,
got me drafted, I believe.
he's a Tennessee coach now.
Yeah,
but
I got to go to one of his games.
But then if you read the other ones, if you read like Eddie Sutton's quotes, it's like, I thought Tony Allen played pretty well offensively.
Because he
And
knew.
then-
Because
'cause
he
he
knew.
knew
Had
to
he
burn
said,
you up.
Had he said, yeah, Tony Allen is one of our go-to guys for moving on forward. He's got to be. I'd have been calling my agent. Hey, Mike Higgins, what's going on?
This was my favorite one,
Go ahead.
though. And this is not tough love. This was my favorite story that I came across. This is 2004.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this was actually in the Hartford Courant. Now, think about this. This is in the byline is East Rutherford, New Jersey, which is, of course, where the NCAA tournament, this pod, was being played. Eddie Sutton played basketball at Oklahoma State from 1955 to 1958 and learned the game from Henry Iba, the man Sutton still refers to as Mr. Iba. In the world of college basketball, Henry Iba is old school. Sutton still believes in the disciplinary methods that made Iba so successful. When Tony Allen and John Lucas were taken out in the second half of Thursday's regional semifinal against Pitt, they understood what Sutton was doing. They saw his scowl and accepted his yelling as a way of teaching. You sit on the bench and you realize what you should have done, Lucas said. He just wants you to realize the mistakes you're making so you won't make them again. Sutton, 68, isn't so set in his ways that he can't surprise everyone now and then. During a first-round NCAA tournament victory over Eastern Washington last week in Kansas City, Sutton wasn't pleased with the way the team was playing. He glanced at Allen and was disturbed by the body language exhibited by the Big 12 Player of the Year. Tony, I think you need a hug, Sutton said. Kyler Keller, Oklahoma State's director of basketball operations, couldn't believe what happened next. It was during a media timeout. We're all sitting there, Keller said. Coach got up and gave him a hug. Here's a street kid who hardly played any high school basketball, so that's a real connection for Tony.
Yo, hey, and he not lying. It actually happened. I think I killed that game probably. I don't know.
In
But-
the NCAA tournament?
Yo, so yeah, and it was like, I think I was just, I don't know what I was feeling. Like, I was feeling like I'm looking at mock draft. I'm looking at, like, it's so much going through my mind, 2004. Like, I'm like, yo, I got to make it. So I probably had an episode in front of him. Probably wasn't buying in just on my.
Just scowling.
He looked down. And he was on his board. He gave his board up. Hey, stand up. Yeah, you need a hug. Gave me a hug. I looked. I'm like, the hell? And I just remember just going nutty after that. Just bucket, crossovers, passes, steals, everything. Just
You
went all the way
had 17 points. You were 6 of 8 from the field.
Yeah, I went crazy.
Played 33 minutes, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block.
Yeah, I went nutty. I took over the game. And that was just a magical moment because
Had he ever done that?
he never ever hugged me. He'll say, give me a hug. He like, yeah, you say it like randomly. What's wrong, Tony? You're a pal. No, you're going to be okay. You give me a hug. But this specific time he offered that hug, it kind of gave us a boost, and we just started clicking game after game. I think that was a magical moment, man. So yeah,
He
man,
just
I
knew
love
how
Eddie
to deal
Sutton,
with
man.
you.
He just knew how to deal with me. He knew when I needed to get pushed. He knew when to lighten up, which was one of those times. And like I said, when I first met Eddie's son, man, I asked him. I said, Coach, am I going pro if I come here? I said, man, I got 5 other schools looking at me. I said, am I going pro? Well, I ain't said that gangster, but I was telling him,
Right.
trying to find out. Like, he looked, he stopped, he leaned back, crossed his leg, and said, if you listen to everything I tell you to do, I don't see why not. I said, man, let me get that pen, man. I grabbed the pen. I ain't even read it. I just said, come on, let's go. Where my shoes at? My shorts. Let's go. I'm ready to rock. You know what I'm saying? That's all it take. All you gotta do is just be straight up with me. If you straight up with me, I'm straight up with you. And that's how it is with anybody. Like you ain't no reason to trying to pull nothing over my head or trying to be slick with me. 'Cause I'm with you. I ain't against you. You get what I'm saying? Right. So it wasn't like he had to ladder me and say, yeah, you about to come here and play 35, 40 minutes. No, that's really I wasn't looking for that answer. He was, yo, you're gonna have to come here and compete. And when you come here and compete, I'm looking at what's at stake. The guy you brought up, Shane Gasson, he was in front of me. Victor Williams, these guys were projected, Melvin Sanders, these guys were looked at as better than me. But at my coming into it was like, no, I'm the piece to the puzzle. Y'all, like, I'm about to show y'all, like, I'm ready. Just tell me what to do. And I needed that guidance from him specifically. You know what I'm saying? Coach Sip came to get me, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm like, all right, I was always looking at him like, yeah, you an underboss. I'm looking for the boss. So when I go holler at the boss, I'm finna shoot the boss. I'm gonna give him 110%. I just need him to let me know, am I gonna make it, man? Do you think I can make it? And he said, yeah, I believe so, if you listen to what I say. And his word wasn't wrong. He probably the only person I know who word was bond. It went how it went, all the way through the flick. Nobody else ever been that straight up, and it went through the flick. I've been under a lot of coaches' shoulders, been sold a lot of dreams. I've been told a lot of things, been around a lot of age, been around a lot of people, period. Just people, period, that just ain't been straight up. He the only one that been straight up all through the basketball way of life, you know what I'm saying, from everybody. You know what I'm saying? Any type of people that come along with athletes, he the only one been straight up. You know what I'm saying? Ain't never gave me nothing. You hear a lot of scandals with straight up by the book with me. You hear me? And I 110% work ethic, I gave it to him. I'm talking about all he had to do was just, his voice was so scary to me at the time, and he was so passionate when he yelled, and that's how I am now. When I'm mad or I'm upset, I get passionate. Even when I'm hooping, I'm serious. Even how I'm speaking now, I'm telling you, just real spill. So it's like, when he used to get mad at me, I knew he was serious. I knew it hurt him bad. I knew he wanted to win so bad. And look at all them damn wins he got. Yeah, that's why I was trying to help him. Because I know he was thinking about it too. Yeah, I got to get these wins. So I'm with you, Coach. I ain't against you. I'm with you. And going to always be with you forever. You feel?
It's crazy because even you're talking that was 04.
04.
I mean,
really 02, you got to figure 02, 03, then 03, 04.
Yeah, and then you fast forward, and when the team would go to Oklahoma City, it was routine for him to come surprise you at shoot-arounds or whatever else, right? And obviously he had been retired from coaching. He was no longer coaching at Oklahoma State or anybody for that matter. He's retired. I posted that picture today of him wearing the Tony Allen T-shirt, which it's one of my all-time favorite pictures.
Yeah, when I was at his crib.
That's you had gone to Oklahoma City and played and visited his house, and he had the T-shirt on. Yep. At one point, I had sent a box down so that he could get to everybody at Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people that still cared about you deeply, right, and still do to this day at Oklahoma State. But you know how incredibly special you were to him for him to be. There's one picture I found. I mean, he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that's
coming up to visit you at a shoot around.
Yeah, I was just saying that, like, man, even as he get older, you see his face, he come in the room, you always know, all right, it's attention. Let me focus in on Coach. Coach want that. He want all this. Attention. Focus in, listen. Like, you know what I'm saying? The first rule of thumb is listening. He used to always tell me, first rule of thumb is listening, T.A. You know? And every time I see him now, like, I ain't gonna never forget just how hard he pushed me. Like, he pushed me to a limit. Like, he got the best out of me, like, all the way to best.
It's a hell of a story, too, because it's not – he's got that southern draw and is this old white guy in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you read this thing, Kyler Keller, who was the director of basketball operations. He's the one quoted in this. So during a media timeout, we're all sitting there. Coach got up and gave him a hug. Here's a street kid who hardly played any high school basketball, so that's a real connection for Tony. Yeah. And he was talking about how, because obviously you guys could not have come from two more different places. Where he was, and even where he was in his career at that point. And, you know, I had that quote that I read earlier where he said, no player has changed more during their time at Oklahoma State, and it's the reason, like, that you and guys like you were the reason that he kept coaching. He's like, well, this is why I keep doing this.
I wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer coming to Oklahoma State, so I mean I could see why he said that, but man, I needed it more than anything. I think if I'd have went anywhere else, I don't think I'd have been this first team all defense kind of guy. Because honestly, I thought he pretty much programmed my mind into playing a little better defense. I think he did. I thought I was a prolific scorer at one point. He told me, you're going to have to get it done on the defensive end too, my boy. This is a defensive program.
Well, and then you know, as time went on, you talked, I mean, almost any time it comes up, you talk about Eddie Sutton being responsible for you. And then after that, you know, kind of what shaped you and what the NBA player you were was Doc saying, you need to do all the stuff these guys can't do, right? Like, that's what we need out of you. We've got guys that can score, right? But if you want to be part of this, you've got to be an amazing defensive player. I don't need you to go out there and I got a guy that can get me 20, 25 points. I need somebody that can go stop the other guy from getting 35 points.
And I ain't gonna lie. And when he told me that at the time,
it hurt your feelings?
It didn't hurt my feelings. I just felt like, all right, now I got to dedicate myself to the weight room. I got to be durable.
Right.
You want me diving on the floor? You want me taking this charge? I got to be solid. I got to be all the way fit. And I turned it up with that. But as far as, I don't know, like I say, Doc did pull that out of me, but I think he made it clear that I wasn't going to survive in this league without playing defense, being able to play defense.
Mm-hmm.
And you using them techniques, you know, Coach Sutton teach when you denying the pass, he teach, I think he teach left hand. I think he teach left hand tap. Right? I want to say. So it's, I think oh man, because I didn't got so good. I'm just saying, hold on.
I can't even remember what he taught me. I got so good at it.
Coach teach outside hand. I got so clever with it. I know how to fake like I'm outside hand on the deny, but catch it with my right hand. Do that make sense?
Yep. Even though it was what, like, it was right after one of the games here, because you came back in town on the Saturday. You had gone to Senior Day at Oklahoma State this year, and that's the last time I talked to you about him, and you had seen him.
Yeah, so
you saw him when he was there.
Took a lot of pictures with him. Gave him a hug.
I hope he's well enough to completely enjoy this and know.
I mean,
he's going to the Hall of Fame. Like, the faculties are there enough to know that. Look, man, you're in. You're in the Hall of Fame.
He did it, and his friends and family gonna be in support to be there, and that's what we've been waiting on for the longest. So it's here, man, and thank God for it, and I thank God for him myself because I don't know.
You really like.
I can't picture myself doing it no other way. Like going to no other program where somebody will even understand me or even take that chance on me. He did. And I just thank God he stuck with me.
I'm glad we've gotten to talk about this because I think, Tony, there's a lot of guys that play for a lot of coaches. Not I think, I know. There's a lot of guys that play for a lot of coaches at all different levels that they don't love. Like, you love this guy. Like, really. Like, he is like a father figure, family member to you. Like, there is this different bond between the way you talk about Coach Sutton and how much you really do love him than I think the normal player-coach relationship. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys play for a lot of coaches every year in all manner of sports. Some guys don't even like their coach, for goodness sakes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Much less find somebody that they have a lifelong bond with and love. And I could not help but think about you on Saturday as I'm watching that, announcement take place. And the Duncan thing, which obviously you guys played against each other. Kobe, I just had asked you a week ago, and you had said, you'll never get the Kobe shoes in terms of memorabilia.
No, whatsoever.
Kevin, who you loved and then attempted to emulate and are still friends with to this day after all these years. And then the biggest by far, Coach Sutton, which is, I mean, that's as thick as it gets, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the boom, the icing on the cake. You know, those two guys getting in.
How'd you find out about the Sutton thing?
Sutton, well, you know, Twitter ain't gonna let me forget. But I think one of my boys, shout out to my boy Colin. My boy Colin, man, real good friend from Oklahoma State, man. He sent me the text like, "Yo, Coach got in." You know, and he was one of the, he took care of the gear and stuff, the equipment. He was equipment manager.
Yep.
You know, I still got his number. Crazy, I just saw him when I went down there, and I said, "Yo, Colin," and I just blurted his number out, like his cell phone number out. I said, "You still got the number 7?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, so we that knitted.
After all these years.
I'm still knitted with people down there. Was that part of the story? But yeah,
That's
man.
15 years.
He told me, yeah, man, I'm a good friend. I'm a friend for L. So he sent me the text, and I'm like, yo, okay, cool. He sent me something to screenshot. I screenshot it, boom, put it on Twitter. Yeah, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna make a tribute about Ticket today too. So
Well, you gotta go.
yeah.
You have to be.
I gotta be in both.
You
of them,
have to
so,
be there.
Like,
What is? I mean, just for you to be there while Kobe, Garnett, and Coach Sutton are all going in.
Man, I gotta be.
I mean,
there.
that's too much
I
emotion,
gotta
man,
be-
for
I
one
gotta
day.
be-
It's gonna be too much
I
emotion
gotta
for
be
one
there,
day.
man. I gotta be there.
Maybe they'll let you say some words. That'd be great.
You think they ready for me? Man? I don't think they ready for me.
I think they should.
They ready for me, man. They might not understand me though. Think they ready? All right.
I think they should.
All right, I'm gonna give them.
I
I ain't
would-
write nothing though. I ain't write nothing. I'm giving them straight off the dome, straight from the heart.
I
and
don't
the
know
man.
the. I don't know the
heart
other.
and the man. How I always spit.
I don't know the other people that are all Coach Sutton's, success stories.
He got a lot of.
I know he
that's
does.
Probably a lot. I probably don't even fit in that bill.
You
but-
had the longest career of the Oklahoma State kids, though.
Think so?
I know so.
I ain't never counted.
Well, there was Joey, Steven, Ivan.
No,
John,
yeah, I know that. But I'm
Of your team.
I thought you was talking about everybody in general. Like it's a lot of players.
Oh, no. How could I know? I don't know who all he had. I'm sure those Arkansas and
He
Kentucky
had a lot of
teams-
pros.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe
lot of pros.
maybe Big Country will be there.
Oh, for sure. He gonna be
Oh,
there. For sure, he gotta be there.
Yeah.
Big Country gotta be there.
Yeah, he has to be there.
Y'all were
right?
your team and Big Country's team. Those were his two Final Four teams at Oklahoma State.
So,
Yep, that's true. They had.
big shout out to Eddie Sutton, man, to the whole Sutton family, man.
Let me ask you this first. So the NFL draft is right around the corner. When you called these games this past year, of the draftable players, who do you think you walked away, like you put down the headset, you were done with the game, the individual player that impressed you the most in a game you called this year?
That I called Chase Young. I think that I think what Burrow did in the playoff, both the semis, although less so because I wasn't that impressed with Oklahoma's defense, but certainly in the championship game, I just, what Burrow did was incredible. But there's a lot of players I could put out there, but Chase Young was incredible. I did 8 Ohio State games, and it just seemed like every single time that they needed him to present pressure or occupy blockers, he was doing that. And his impact on the game was tremendous, and it couldn't be overstated. And a lot of people that wanted to hate on him, whether for conference matters or for whatever reason, they said like, hey, late in the year, he didn't put up any productivity. And they're right. The stat sheet says that he didn't put up any productivity. If you actually turn on the tape and you watch what the game plans were for teams like Michigan late in the year, Wisconsin, the Big Ten championship game, for what Clemson did in that playoff game, he was doubled on 90% of snaps, and he was still getting pressure and making the quarterback uncomfortable. Remember now, it's not just a sack or a tackle for loss that affects the opposition. That shows up on the stat sheet, but affecting and disrupting the timing and the overall efficiency of an offense sometimes can't be put down on the stat sheet, and it can't be a statistic for that is just not available. And he was doing that. So, to answer your question, a game that I sat in the booth and covered, Chase Young, more in particular against Wisconsin and then Penn State, he was insane.
All right, let me ask you about these quarterbacks. I know you are a fan of Joe Burrow, and you do believe that it translates to the next level. I am more interested. I think we all agree that Burrow, and he's probably going to go, he'll be the first quarterback off the board. How worried would you be to take Tua?
I probably would be, if you were categorizing us, putting us on some sort of pendulum, I would be more on the worried side than I would be everything is fine side. He has not played a full season without a major injury in his college career. Think about that, right? That's a problem. He's had surgeries on both ankles. He's now had a fractured hip. And I think more troublesome for me is that they weren't exactly freak accidents. And let me explain that. You could probably say, like, what in the world are you talking about? Well, all of those injuries were the result of a play in which Tua thought he was more elusive than he actually is. You following that?
Yeah.
So when he's outside of the pocket, when he's running away, he feels like, oh, I've got time. I can hold the ball. I can make it. I can hold it for an extra beat because I'm getting away from this player. And then he gets caught, rolled up on. He's hurt both of his ankles the same way, and he fractured his hip the same way. Like, that's, to me, when I'm watching, that's a pattern that is troublesome. He's not Russell Wilson, guys. Like, Russell is way more elusive and more athletic than Tua. Now, does Tua have incredible traits? Absolutely. I think he is a top 5, 6 pick all day long, probably higher than that with the quarterback need that some of these teams have, and them potentially jumping up there to that number 3 spot with the Detroit Lions and trying to draft Tua. But to me, his quick release, his decisiveness, all of that is there. I hope he has a really long and great career, but I'm concerned about the fact that when he gets injured, they are not freak accidents. They stem from the exact same problem, and that is that he believes he's more elusive than he is.
And that problem is only heightened by moving up a level to the NFL, because now, I mean, look, if you've already gotten majorly injured, because I follow what you're saying, I mean, now you're trying to get away from guys that are 6'5", 300 pounds that are running 5.0 40s, so like we just saw in the combine, right?
Yeah. Shoot, look at some of these 40s that some of these college kids were running.
I know it.
I mean, Tristan Wirfs is over 3 bills. He's running sub 5.0. I'm like, what?
Crazy.
What is happening?
It's ridiculous. Do you really like any of the other quarterbacks? Because I know you haven't put out your mock yet, and there's a difference between guys that you would really bank on and whoever you think is going to go in a mock draft or rankings for that matter. But when you put out your rankings, there were not a lot of quarterbacks in there, and there's people that think there could be possibly, for certain 3 with Herbert from Oregon going, but also maybe a Jordan Love or a Jacob Eason, Jake Fromm, like one of these guys that ends up getting drafted in the first round too, because as you talked about, the necessity for quarterbacks. Do you think that will be that if this year we do have more than 3, that just marks a necessity for quarterback rather than the individual level of these guys, where sometimes we certainly have had 4 or possibly even 5 quarterbacks that everybody knew would go in the first round, just depended on the order?
I think that's accurate. I think that Tua is incredible. I think Joe Burrow is incredible. I think Burrow is ahead of Tua, and I think after Tua there is a pretty significant drop-off when you get to 3 and 4. And a lot of teams are going to have those guys in different orders, Jordan Love and Justin Herbert I'm talking about. And then, candidly, I think that there's a pretty significant drop-off after that to get to Jalen Hurts and Eason and Jake Fromm, quite honestly. And I think Fromm would probably be a guy that I would be more apt to take in the middle or late rounds because he's just experienced. He's played really well in big moments at a big-time university. And so I think that he would get the nod in those middle and late rounds there. But if you're looking at 3 and 4, you're going to have some combination of Jordan Love and Justin Herbert. Okay, both of them physically, the talent is undeniable, in particular their arm talent, their ability to make throws, the strength of their arm. I think that Herbert would probably get the nod for most organizations because he's, one, played more football. He didn't lead the country in interceptions last year like Jordan Love did. And he's athletic, and he showed that against Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl. Another thing that Herbert has going for him is he is a great leader, he's a great student, and he doesn't have any off-the-field trouble like Love is going to have to deal with because, stemming from that marijuana sighting that he had right before the bowl game. I know that it was thrown out, but again, that lingers when you're talking about NFL decision-making rooms. If you look at Jordan Love, he makes some throws against LSU that are incredible. Now, he led the country in interceptions. His numbers all went down. You could try to explain that away by saying that his coach, Matt Wells, went to Texas Tech from his junior year to his senior year. You also look at the fact that, from his sophomore to his junior year. Love also was only one of 2 starters that returned for his entire offense. So his numbers were going to go down, but his decision-making, in particular with those interceptions, that's alarming. So I think Herbert would probably be the guy at 6'6", 200 and close to 40 pounds with that incredible arm that will be taken third, and I believe, Chris, he's going to be overdrafted, right? So Verno, teams are going to overdraft him because he's got high character. He's he's all of these things. He's physically talented. But my concern and why it's a significant drop is that when you turn on the tape, he doesn't make quality decisions in a routine fashion. He's not consistent, right? He takes the football into odd places versus certain structures of defense. He doesn't anticipate windows. Sometimes his first instinct when things get fast or when a rush comes or when a blitz comes is that he flinches in the pocket. His eyes go down. Those are traits that over time should have left his game at Oregon with the amount of snaps that he took up there, and they didn't. So to me, that's a concern. But that's why I'd say with those guys, it's a significant drop. But I think Herbert will get overdrafted, probably somewhere in the top 15 if you're asking me.
Okay, so there's really only 2 that you feel confident in, and there's even an asterisk next to Tua, right? Burrow would be the one for you, right? Because we got the totally understandable concerns with Tua, but once you get past them, there's nobody that you would put the big stamp of approval, oh, you guys nailed it by taking this guy.
No, I think Jordan Love has the highest potential, but there are concerns like I went through.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think you're going to see some teams look at those players and say, hey, what if we had a chance next year to get Lawrence or Fields? Yep. I think that's an interesting, take. Like, for instance, if you look at Miami, all right, let's say Miami, who really loves Joe Burrow, can't get up to number 1 from 5-1, right? And they're sitting there with the 5th pick. They've got the 18th pick, and they've got the 26th pick. 3 first-round picks. They can obviously trade out and try to go up and get Joe Burrow, but if they don't, do they want to take a question mark in Tua, or do they just roll with Fitzpatrick for 1 year, take Tristan Wirfs in offensive tackle? Down lower, they could take a guy like Patrick Queen, the linebacker at LSU, and then with the 26th pick, maybe they get another offensive lineman, and they start building the pieces that would help them secure a better roster in attempts that maybe next year they can go get Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. I don't know. It's just something to think about.
Or, look, these guys are now becoming available, Nick Foles obviously switched teams. Jameis Winston and Cam Newton still aren't on teams. There are now quarterbacks that have become more available than maybe in the past where you could.
Tom Brady was a free agent.
Tom Brady was a free agent. Good point. I have wondered, Joel, because it used to be if a guy like Jalen Hurts or somebody like that would just get discarded, and you cannot help but think of the success. You just had an NFL MVP in Lamar Jackson. You just had Josh Allen, who has his own problems throwing the ball, right? That teams always used to, they would take you and then they would say, well, here's what you've got to do. And so they'd put you in a system where you have to, make those progressions or whatever else. Kevin Clark, I wrote about this from The Ringer last year. And
however, let me jump in real quick, though. Yeah. Let me jump in real quick. Everything that you said is correct. Everything you said. However, once you get down to brass tacks in the NFL, once you get to the divisional round, once you get to the championship game week, once you get to the Super Bowl, you've got to make throws.
Yes.
Right?
I agree with you.
As great as Patrick Mahomes is, his best attribute is his ability to absolutely kill defenses from the pocket. Right? to me, that's still a top level. Like, if you're going to be, because let's be honest, right? Are we drafting starters here, or are we drafting? If you're drafting a quarterback, you got to pass the confetti test. The confetti test is you close your eyes and you picture Super Bowl 55, 56, 57, and you're like, is that the quarterback that I see with confetti falling down on his head? Remember, we're not just drafting guys to be middle-of-the-road starters in the National Football League, right? I don't want to select 17th every single year. I don't want to be the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey,
right? I'm just telling you.
Hey.
Facts don't care about your feelings. Verno, you got to pass the confetti test.
All I'm saying, I agree with you. Listen, at some point, it's 3rd and 12, and they're not going to let you run for it. So you got to be able to get it done. All I'm saying is the NFL used to take a lot of guys and say, and especially guys from like the spread or whatever, and say, you got to, this is our system, so you fit into this system, right? Rather than now,
that's changed.
Yeah.
Now they will shift for you and try to be successful with what you can do, and that's a good thing. And that's why, by the way, I'm not suggesting Jalen Hurts is anything other than a quarterback.
Right.
He's a quarterback. He should be a quarterback, and I hope he can be successful in the league. But there are things he needs to do better in order to be a top-end starter.
2 other things quickly. You have a ton. I think you have 8 in that top 50 list you put out, wide receivers. Everybody knows this is an unbelievable wide receiver class. Which of them, Judy, I believe, was the top ranked. Which of them do you personally, if it was you drafting, the one that you like the most? Because look, you're really you're pulling straws on a lot of these guys. It's like they're all, that there's going to be 4 or 5 of them that turn out to be absolutely what we think they're going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have Judy as my top guy now, but that probably is going to change. I have him at 11, CeeDee Lamb at 12, Henry Ruggs at 13 in my top 50. They're all right there, which basically is 11A, B, C.
Right.
I think that they're different, and so it's tough because I would need the framework of what I'm trying to do system-wise and what I need. So let me just go through what I think that they are and what they can do. I think Jerry Jeudy is a highly productive guy, right? Touchdowns galore, 24 over the last 2 seasons. He's a great route runner at every level. He's fluid. He's quick out of his break. He can create space on his own. So if you need a true Z wide receiver that can just be your number one, be steady, and be highly productive, that's your guy. CeeDee Lamb, for me, is a guy that I think has splash potential. He's great in traffic catching the football. He catches it well. He's even better once it's in his hands as a runner. And I think he's going to produce big plays during his career. He can go deep, but it wasn't a big thing that they did last year just because of Hurts. Henry Ruggs is, he's Tyreek Hill, right?
Oof.
4.27, if I need a guy that I'm just I'm going to take the top off the defense, I'm going to affect the safety, I'm going to affect the space of the defense, then that's the guy that I'm taking. However, if I don't have other guys that can be highly productive, create space on their own, I think that Ruggs loses his effectiveness. So that's why I have him third of those 3, is just because I think it takes a team that already has a solid number one, and now they put him in there, and he takes the top off the defense, and all of a sudden, bang. Now, I know this team doesn't have a solid number one, but think about, I'm just giving you a little tip on where I'm headed right now. Think about the 49ers with that 13th pick. After seeing exactly what Tyreek Hill's speed can do to a defense in that Super Bowl, Hill, crushed them with Mahomes on that play, on that 3rd down. 49ers need a wide receiver. If Jeudy and Lamb are off the board, is Henry Ruggs an opportunity there for the San Francisco 49ers in their first of 2 picks in the first round? They've got the 13th. They've got the 31st. Do they go wide receiver there, work on their defensive backfield at 31? I don't know. It's something interesting.
My producer is a massive 49er fan, and I unfortunately think you just gave him an erection.
No.
Talking about Henry Ruggs.
No. I want Jeudy or Lamb. I think
it makes sense because they just need anybody. They need the production guy, right? They need a guy that can catch 100 passes. I don't know if that is Ruggs, but I got to tell you, man, after seeing they came so close, and Hill dismantled them. If I'm John Lynch and I see Henry Ruggs at 4.27, I'm like, man, do I draft my Tyreek Hill right now?
Yep.
Oh, well then, because I think if Judy and Lamb aren't there, I think they're going to trade down because they don't have a second, third, or fourth round pick, and I think they're going to trade.
You're probably right.
And
now,
I think they're going to trade out
of
of 31
that
too.
31st though, or that 13th.
Oh yeah, they might trade the 31st to get down too.
Yeah.
This has been the best of the Chris Vernon Show, presented by Direct Auto Insurance. Tune in to the live show daily at noon or on demand by heading over to grindcitymedia.com or Grind City Media on YouTube.